Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will be looking at Interpol's Untitled from their debut album Turn on the Bright Lights, which I have over here. Interpol is my favorite band that doesn't come close. They are my favorite band, and I just figured that I would really enjoy listening to this music with other people. Just as a little background, I'm a classically trained French horn player. I have done some covers on this channel, and this song being one of them. That was during the pandemic, recorded that, so I spent a lot of time listening to the song over and over and over. I figured I would like to listen to it again and kind of make a video about it and go through some of the musical aspects, but also like cultural things with Interpol. And yeah, just kind of have fun listening to their music. I listen to it on my free time, so why not make a video? So Untitled, very first song from their very first album. Some performance background. I know that they used to at least open their shows with this song. I've seen them live only 3 times, but knowing how often Interpol tours, recently they've been on tour. They were on tour for like 2 years in a row, which is a long time. And now it sounds like maybe they're making a new album. I don't know. Looking at their Instagram, Paul Banks is like saying some stuff, like we're working on some things. So I hope that Sam is doing well and he's able to join them since he wasn't able to be on their last tour. Of those 3 shows that I've seen, I know at least one of them, they opened it with this song. One of the other shows I went was their recent Antics 20th anniversary tour. That's their second album. And so they didn't start with anything from this album for that tour, but they did play some things on the second half. Alright, so let's check out the beginning of the song. Okay, so already at the beginning, I love this song so much. All Interpol fans, love this song. You read comments on this video, other videos. I know people have, made their own music videos of this. Everyone kind of agrees that this is, such a zen Interpol song. Okay, so where we start is the guitars are in really, really close harmony, and it's this repetitive theme. And that's maybe not always the case, but 90%, if not 95%, Interpol songs, they start out with Daniel Kessler, one line, and that repeats ostinato throughout the song. And then they build on top of that. I think it's just such a cool way from seeing so many interviews of theirs that they all take ownership of their own line.
It starts with Daniel on guitar, it starts with a guitar progression that he brings in.
Just a basic melody, just like a one-string kind of melody that was very attractive in its simplicity.
I'll be playing guitar parts and just doing vocals off the top of my head, and Sam will be working on a beat. Then it becomes the democratic committee of Interpol where we just really kind of duke it out. And I mean, it's a very arduous, long process writing a song. And it's good though, because that's the only way we could exist.
Daniel writes his part, Carlos would write his part, Sam writes his part, Paul writes the lyrics and his own guitar part and stuff, and then they agree and they can change some things, but basically they all own their own individual instrument. So we've got this really tight harmony at the beginning that's kind of vague, but then becomes more insistent. That rhythm becomes more insistent and more clear as, maybe 3 measures in. So then Sam with the cymbals, let's just hear that, before then the bass comes in. And then the song is now we're started. Oh my gosh, it's so calm, but it's got such a funk to it too. It's not just like intro or background music that it's its own, it's kind of a couple of different things. What am I saying? I'm just like kind of blurbing all over the place. This is how I talk at the moment, and I'm hoping that like maybe making a video like this will help me to train my words to come out more in a definite thought. Is there a meaning to the song? I'm sure there is. They're a very thoughtful band, but also Paul Banks is knowingly ambiguous about the meanings of the words that he writes. Sometimes they have a direct meaning, but sometimes it's left up to interpretation. Sometimes, as he has said in interviews, he just likes to put words together sometimes because they sound funny. So it's like we can look for meanings here and there, but we might not be right with what he was intending or the band was intending, but also that's okay, because like that's kind of the point of art and music, is sometimes there is a right and a wrong, but then there's also up to interpretation, because we are an audience and we have our opinions and things that we pick up on. Intro song that was maybe made to like warm up the crowd for a live show and just kind of like get everyone, to chill and like, okay, we're starting now, and now we're going to kind of do all these different things that sound maybe a little bit random, but it's definitely planned out. That's one of the things I love about Interpol as a live band. They sound and they perform just like they do on the album, just like they do in the studio. From a musician in the classical world, where that is 100% what you do. You if you're playing an orchestra, you don't get to play, you don't improvise, you don't choose if you want to take time somewhere. That's the conductor's job, because there's like 80 people on stage, so that would be mayhem if everyone decided that they wanted to, well, I think I'd like to take a little more time here. It's like, well, if you didn't rehearse that way and you didn't get permission to do that, that's not going to work. Being trained in that way, and that's like really ingrained into me, I appreciate that in this rock band, that it's like a level of dedication and practiced, and it sounds rehearsed, and they perform exactly how they sound like on the CD player. That makes me sound very old. Let's continue. Okay, sorry to cut you off, Paul, but I just find I love the groove in this song so much. So Sam and Carlos on the bass, but in particularly I hear it in the drums a lot, is this backbeat. So we've got the emphasis on 2 and 4. So if we're in 4/4, which this song I would say is in 4/4, we've got this emphasis on 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and it just creates this kind of like, this groove that is not always apparent in this style of music. So like pop music, from what I understand, pop music is like where all 4 beats get equal amount of emphasis, generalizing, but that's generally what makes it more pop. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 are pretty much even. Rock music, we've got the backbeat. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Props to Sam and Carlos for bringing that out, because it was funky. Alright. So we've got Paul just starting to come in with the lyrics. Let's hear a little bit more of that.
I will surprise you sometime. I'll come around. Oh, I will surprise you sometime. I'll come around when you're down.
Interpol has a super, super dark, moody sound to them. I was just having this discussion with my husband. I'm the Interpol fan, but since we've been married, he's also an Interpol fan. But I'm the one who brought it to the relationship. That everything, really until maybe like their second to last album, literally every song is in minor. From this album, Say Hello to the Angels starts out where you think, this kind of sounds peppy, and then quickly you're like, nope, it's Interpol again. Generally, all the songs are they're dark feeling. They're in minor, so we're kind of like, we're moody, we're sad, and they bring it out so well with these harmonies that they always use. The song starts out like, it's not angsty because I don't feel nervous listening to it, and I don't think anybody else really gets that impression. It gets to the point of the clouds parting and the sun opening up the sky, and there's hope and there's optimism. It's like a slow build in this song. It starts out kind of like, I'm peaceful, I'm calm, but it's kind of like a gray day. So like that's like the beginning. So let me go back. Like I'm a little bit sad, but okay, now it's a crescendo, we're getting louder. There's this insistence. Almost like, I hate to stop it, but it's almost like I feel calm at the beginning, but I am deciding that I'm going to do something. I am deciding that I don't want to just like rest just in this calm energy. Like I want to like get up and do something, but I'm not quite there yet, but we're warming up to it. So then when the bass and the come in, it's like, I got an idea. So like the idea is like coming to me, but I'm not really sure what it is. And then Paul is saying like, surprise, sometimes I'll come around. Like, I don't know, surprise, like you can't count on me. I might be there. I don't know. Okay, so now we've got to where we are deciding maybe we want to, this is just my take. This is just me of like, if I was going to play this and like I need to get into the right mindset of like what message I want to tell, I'm making up my own story. So if that's like, we're deciding we're going to do something and now the lyrics come in and say, yeah, surprise, I might be here, blah, 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 I might do something, blah, blah, blah. We are approaching blue skies and the clouds parting, and that will come in ultimately when we like kind of maybe kind of like a jam session. It's kind of giving me that idea. It's like, okay, now the structure is done, meaning the structure is like the verse, the words, the ostinato that we've been having from the beginning with the guitars. Now we are going to unwrap into you take a solo, let's put these harmonies on top. Carlos in the bass, it's like, what are you doing, man? It sounds so cool. It's like, he's just singing a song. He's just like playing the bass, It's not like, oh, you gotta play these specific chords or whatever. He's like, no, I'm gonna make, my own solo out of this moment.
Carlos has always found a way to kind of defy whatever the obvious would be and really sort of make that, the piece expand.
Here's about where I see like the clouds opening up and all that happening. I wish I could isolate that bass line, but it's like, oh. I can't sing that low. I do this all the time. I overestimate my range. Bum, 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 boom, 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 boom. Like, he's like, here's the chords that I should be sticking to with the harmony that I should be sticking to in my role as the bass, and now I'm going to push that. I'm going to, here's the line, I'm just gonna go like right up to it and maybe a little bit over it.
More than happy to talk to you about that, but I think that would exercise the limits of this situation, don't you?
And then Sam's like just rocking out with like different rhythms and the drums and everything, but it never leaves this feeling of structure. We have structure. Someone at all times in this song is keeping the structure, even until the end when hardly anybody's playing. We have that constant rhythm going. Got that little like hiccup, like, you know, we're always gonna get that and one to keep, we're not just static moving vertically, you know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're gonna get a little funk thrown in there. That pitch bend is so cool. And like, if anybody's been to an Interpol live show, to see Paul, he's like, okay, we're done singing now. Well, we've been done singing for like 2 minutes at this point. He kneels down and there's this pedal right below the mic that you can see him adjusting the pitch. It's just like so cool. It's like, oh guys, I got time for that. I can bend the pitch. We don't need someone in the back doing it. I just love it. I don't know. We're bending the pitch, we're bending the rules, you know, it's gonna be a good time. We end with this, you know, we've got the guitar going the whole time. Daniel Kessler, you know, I should look into this more, because I know he, like, always starts. Every Interpol song starts with Daniel on the guitar, setting up. He starts the song. But what I should pay attention to is, does he always end the song? Because here, I believe, yes, that's still him playing. And he's the last voice to be heard. I have questions that I'm going to look out for now, after doing this video. We've got Paul also playing guitar, and now he's bending the pitch. And then we have Carlos. Boom, boom, ding. And it's always like one more time than you think it's gonna be. For those who don't know Interpol's history, Carlos is no longer with the band. He stayed for 4 albums. But he was... everyone would argue he's an integral part to the Interpol sound, although he's no longer a part of the band. Now it is the 3 founding members, Sam, Paul, and Daniel. So we've had this entire picture of, like, very close harmonies at the beginning, clouds opening up, and we've got this big, like, everybody gets a solo kind of moment, and now we've totally come back down to where we started. Actually, even less than where we started, because it's like one guitar playing at the end here. Let it ring. Love it. Love it so much. Some cultural influences with this song. So Interpol is not in the mainstream. Probably most people that aren't like avid indie listeners don't know about Interpol. And Interpol fans love that. Just like most people who love anything that a lot of people don't know about, we get upset when it becomes the mainstream. Interpol was used in an episode of Friends, which is like kind of random looking from the outside in. It's like Interpol and Friends. Friends, the biggest TV show when it was on, and still one of the most famous American TV shows we've had. So it's a funny combination. You know, both New York based. I guess that makes sense. Full disclosure, I've seen Friends the entirety of the show one time, but I just remember it was like so long ago when I watched this. Correct me if I'm wrong. The storyline of it is just, it's just like a fling. It doesn't turn into anything. It's nothing serious, right? From what I've read, you know, there's like some controversy then with the Interpol community about, oh, should it be used in this mainstream way? But if I'm a musician and the biggest show running at the time asks me to use my music, yes, I'm gonna say yes. It's like, I'm gonna say yes. You can have all your moral qualms with it that you want, or like, it doesn't live up to my artistic intention that I had with writing this song. But at the end of the day, like, gotta pay the bills. And if the biggest show going on wants to use your music and you're gonna be like, well, it doesn't really fit the intention that I went with. So I think it's easy for people on the outside to take issue with those artistic intentions when it's not their money on the line. I read an article recently. Yeah, so Interpol themselves, they had this article that, yeah, I know I read it. The band Interpol have said that they are very glad that they agreed to one of their songs being used. To some fans of the alternative indie rock band, the pairing of their music with the popular mainstream sitcom seemed an unusual artistic decision. Yes, I definitely agree. It's definitely unusual. Was it wrong? Let's see. In a recent Guardian interview, one reader asked the question, were you worried about losing respect? This reminds me. Story time. I read something recently about Smash Mouth being asked about their music being used for Shrek. You listen to All Star by Smash Mouth and you think of Shrek. And so some people were wondering, like, do you have, when your music is thought of, that people are thinking Shrek? And they said something like, yeah, we were very happy for it. Like, it's the thing that gave us a lot of popularity. So Interpol, it's like, I'm sure it's the same thing. I liked the idea that the scene was a bit off. We asked ourselves, is this cool? And I'm very glad we said yes, says Paul Banks. In our perfect world and in our perfect artistic intentions that we have for our own music and music we like, yes, it would be nice. One area that I do agree with, because I like Friends, but one area that I have very mixed feelings about is Interpol's music video for If You Really Love Nothing with Kristen Stewart. Like, okay. Goodbye, Kristen Stewart. That's okay. I love Twilight. I love it in the way that, people love to hate it. I have very mixed feelings about, well, generally, okay, it's not that I have mixed feelings. It's mostly I don't like the fact that Kristen Stewart is in that video, because that is one area that I'm like, you are way too mainstream for Interpol. You are way too mainstream. I don't like it. I wouldn't like it if any mainstream actor was like, I've been an Interpol fan for all these years. And I believe that Kristen has said so. And I believe it. I believe it. Kristen is like from a very indie background. I mean, Twilight, for crying out loud, was indie, the very first movie. Kristen's very funky, so I'm sure being a fan of Interpol lines up. But you are not of that same funk now. You are very mainstream. And you are very popular. So I don't like it. because I'm like a little bit jealous. Because it's like, alright, fine. You get to have both the indie side and the popularity side. I just don't like the combination. So I'm sure that's why a lot of people feel that way about Friends. So I get it. And it's also like they're portraying Kristen in a horrible light because the song is about, right, like someone who loves nothing and is just like a terrible person. And that's the character that is portrayed in this music video. It's like, it's not a great look, but if you want to do it, I guess it's fine. But I'm not going to watch a music video again because I don't like it. But I'm very judgmental. So anyway, I believe that is all I wanted to say about Untitled by Interpol. I really enjoyed recording this. I love all things Interpol, so I was happy to spend a little while listening to their song again more in depth, and really talking through it helps me talking out loud. Well, why do I love this song? Well, because I love it. And it's like, okay, well, but why? So now that I spent a little time coming up with the reasons of like, this is why I think it's so cool and everybody should love it, has made me more confident in this is a good song. 2 thumbs up, and I know that everybody who loves Interpol really, really loves this song. So I hope you enjoyed this.